guys, welcome to episode 38 of the Elephant Wire podcast, the show we break down song lyrics and don't play you a damn second of the song because major labels are thieving babies that would sue us up the ass. This week's episode, we're going to be talking with Best of Emo with a very special guest, resident sad lad, Nick Sheehan. Nick, you ready to get some?
Let's do it, man.
Let's fucking get some. All right, man. Well, welcome on the episode. We've been talking about this for quite a while now, actually.
Yeah, about a year.
I think it's damn near a year ago whenever we started talking about this.
Yeah, it is. But we made it happen.
We did. We made it happen. We set our mind to it and we were like, this is going to happen. So we finally got here and we chose a topic that I feel is very near and dear to both of our hearts.
I would agree with that.
There's only one way to really listen to emo, and that's in your heart, I think.
I was gonna say with your wrist cut and your eyes blacked.
It doesn't hurt.
No.
I actually, on my way into the studio here, I made sure to slam my door and scream something about my stepdad.
I did the same thing. I live alone. I sounded crazy.
Yeah, my wife was like, "What are you talking about? You don't have a stepdad." You'll never understand me.
You'll never understand.
Well, one thing that was really fun when we were putting this episode together, doing some research, I found out that there is a pizza place in Columbus, Ohio called Sad Pie. And this place, I made sure to check out their menu, and on their menu they have the Check Yes Cheesiest.
Oh my God.
Which fantastic one. They have the This Ain't a Cheese, It's a Pepperoni.
That's a bit of a stretch, but
it is. Yeah, like I get the Fall Out Boy reference. I do.
I follow. Like, yeah, I follow the reference.
Where Are You and I'm So Sausage. That's probably the best one that they have.
That's great.
Wing Life Away.
Best one so far.
Yep, that's a good one.
Rise Against fan over here.
Saves the Day Sticks.
Yeah. I mean, you just want to put Saves the Day on the menu. I get it.
Yeah. Once again, it's a bit of a stretch, but yeah. I see what they were doing. I'm gonna guess they're mozzarella sticks, but yeah.
Who knows? Breadsticks, maybe.
I ordered them. I'm just a big Saves the Day fan. Like, so are we. That's why we put it on the menu.
I can't fault them.
And then last but not least, Newfound Garlic Bites.
Again, bit of a stretch, but I'm here for it. I support this.
I support this 100%. Someone asked me the other day what my biggest character trait was. I forget how it was presented to me, but basically I was saying that something about what's the most consistent character trait I have. Maybe that's what it was. And I was saying how for the last 3 years, every 6 months I go to the van store and I buy the same pair of Vans.
Yeah.
And I
see nothing wrong with that.
Well, so as I was thinking about it, I was like as we were, getting this episode together and everything, I was wondering, like, is that an emo trait that I just the exact same pair of? Yeah,
I would say it is. Maybe not specifically Vans, but definitely black and white shoes or blue and white.
Yeah, blue and white. If you're feeling fancy as an emo kid, maybe the red with the white soles. Maybe.
But I feel like those kids were like really into Streetlight Manifesto as well.
Or Thrice.
Hey, shout out Alex Bucks. Thrice is the best emo band that has ever existed. It's been driving me crazy.
Oh man. Well, before we get too much further, if anyone is curious, we're going to go through a little bit of the history here of the emo genre. Emo, according to the Wikipedia, emo is a genre categorized by an emphasis on emotional expression, sometimes through confessional lyrics. So right off the bat, I kind of don't disagree with that because I feel like it should say always through confessional lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that's basically the foundation of.
I would agree with you. I would say music is much like hardcore music. It's about the lyrics, and everything else kind of follows suit.
Right. Right. Or like, in punk music, like how fast is
Yeah,
it? You know,
exactly.
like way less on the lyrics and way more, when you start getting into like like Norwegian death metal and black metal, like they don't release their lyrics. You have no idea what the guy's saying. She's just
No clue.
growling and yeah. It's calculated.
Preaching and making exactly.
uh, it emerged as a style of post-hardcore from the mid 1980s hardcore punk movement in Washington, D.C. So I always love too whenever we have a genre of music that we can nail down to a region as far as like its birth. That's always fun
Mhm.
too.
And I would have assumed Chicago. I definitely didn't think DC.
So this is in the early 1980s. So as we start,
Oh,
yeah. So this is how like this is the first emergence of like the emo, like coming out of that hardcore punk,
that's cool.
like coming out of that side of it. Pioneered by bands such as Rites of Spring and Embrace, a couple of those earliest, like emotional hardcore and emo core was what it was originally called.
Nice.
Then you get in the early 1990s, emo was adopted and reinvented by alternative rock, indie, and punk bands such as Sunny Day Real Estate, Jawbreaker, Weezer, Jimmy Eat World. Like now we're starting to get into bands that like, okay, that this actually makes more sense because this is always a
Yeah,
funny one
more
too.
mainstream.
When you start going through like the emerging bands of a genre, like whenever you think like, okay, where did metal come from? And then people are like, oh, Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath. Well, today those are not metal bands at all.
No.
That's just where it started. So once again with emo, I mean the first couple emo bands that we have, not really emo as far as we're concerned, you know what I
Not by
mean?
the modern standard.
Yeah. Exactly. But once we get in the 90s, we really quickly instantly get into like, oh, those are emo bands.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
By the mid 1990s, bands such as Braid, The Promise Ring, Get Up Kids emerged the burgeoning Midwest emo scene. So here we go. Now we're starting to get into that Chicago emo scene
Mhm.
a little bit. Then we start to see some screamo, more aggressive emo style with scream vocals, and then we start to see that side of the emo genre. So that like the more Midwest Chicago emo bands coming out were a lot more contemplative, a lot more, damn near shoegazer emo, if you will.
Mhm.
Where now on the West Coast in San Diego, you have like Heroin and Antioch Arrow. You have more of those like screamo, like bands coming from that side. And then in the 2000s, that's when we start to see Hawthorne Heights and Silverstein and Story of the
Mhm.
Year and Thursday and what would be a couple others. We could throw Under Oath in there.
Would you?
I would, just for the plain sense of they gave Christian kids a sense of emo-ness.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Just like Switchfoot made them feel like they were rocking out, man.
Oh hell yeah! Switch. Saw them in San Francisco accidentally.
What, like on a bus? Like, what do you mean on accidentally?
No, I just wandered into a club. I heard that there was some music. It was like $20 at the door. I'm like, okay, cool. And it was Switchfoot, and I was not disappointed, man. They dared
There.
me to move, and I listened.
Question is, but did you look at the stars?
I did. I did. Honestly, that is my favorite song to play on the guitar.
Stars?
Yes,
That's a fun song, man. I
it's
mean,
really fun.
as a kid that grew up in youth group, dude, Switchfoot still gets me moving. It'll
As
get my
a
motor running.
Jewish kid that grew agnostic, Switchfoot still gets me.
See,
Yeah,
it's bringing
they're
everybody
for
together.
everybody.
The Used, we can definitely throw them in there
My
for
Chemical
sure.
Romance, obviously.
My Chemical Romance, absolutely. Well, so from the early to the mid 2000s, now we start to actually see the scene taking shape as far as like now they're referred to as emo kids.
Mhm.
Because when it first started to get formed, it wasn't necessarily as defined as that. And now we start to like fans of emo, they start to dress similarly. Like it now has become like an actual movement. That's when we start to see like My Chemical Romance and Hawthorne Heights still pushing through on the same genre. The Used would be another one.
Mhm.
And then definitely Fall Out Boy coming up in there as well,
Most
in the
definitely.
early 2000s. So then you have that subculture, really like, with self-harm, the depression, all the different things that start coming with that entire movement. And then as you start to get into like the later years of the 2000s, like, like late 2000s, early 2010s, you start to see bands like My Chemical Romance, Panic at the Disco, and even some Fall Out Boy bands start to reject the kind of the social stigma that they had basically helped create.
Mhm.
when at the same time you have other bands that were really like, Hawthorne Heights would be one that I'm like, they're going to come up a lot in this episode just because they
They're
helped.
still doing it.
Exactly. Yeah. Senses Fail would be another one where like they started there. They're still doing it today. I just saw recently Senses Fail and Hawthorne Heights are on tour together right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Like still getting still proud of the movement that they created, still getting at it. Cause then you have, I mean, My Chemical Romance, I would give them a little more credit than I would Fall Out Boy just because of the way that they left emo.
Mhm.
As far as they rebranded themselves in Black Parade, that album basically was them being like, we're not emo anymore, we do this now.
Yep.
To where with a band like Fall Out Boy, what was that one? It had the sheep on it, that it was Infinite Memories.
Oh yeah. I
That was
think
the
that's
album. Yeah, that was the album where Fall Out Boy was like, yeah, we don't do that anymore, like we're not. But they went the arena way where My Chemical Romance was like, oh, we just don't do emo.
yeah.
Like
Now Fall Out Boy is like I don't even know where to begin with what they're doing.
I am not entirely sure.
It's different. We'll just say
It's a cash cow. We can give them that.
we can. They're eating just fine.
So if we were to basically draw that timeline, like there's three ways to go about it. There's the bands that created the brand, there's the bands that ditched the brand, and then there's the bands that are still on brand.
Mm-hmm.
So the main bands from that, bands that created the brand, we're gonna I want to see where you land on this, but I'm gonna throw down Sunny Day Real Estate and Jawbreaker as the two
I would,
biggest like the two biggest bands that created the brand.
yep, I would agree with that completely. Definitely adding on Dashboard, as we were talking about, Dashboard Confessional.
There we go. Yep. I always
Can
forget how long those guys have been around.
since the 90s.
Yeah.
Late, I think 98 was the first release, I think. But
Okay.
like you really can't talk emo without talking about Dashboard Confessional.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And then let's see. Let me try and not draw a blank. Of course, like the one time I need to be like firing off.
I wouldn't. I'm not worried about it, bud. Well, I mean, one funny thing. I mean, just as far as like the emo movement in general. I mean, especially on the side of Dashboard Confessional, like you could get a bunch of people in a bar. It's 1 a.m. Maybe there's a band on stage or whatever. Like it doesn't matter what it is. Everybody could be raging, and then you could go to the jukebox and you could turn on Vindicated.
Oh yeah.
And everyone will be singing that song at the top of their lungs.
And I will also say, to his credit, you could put on 6 other songs, and almost every single person would be singing in that bar, not just
Exactly.
Vindicated. Like,
Right.
What Dashboard was able to do was to take the subgenre of all the subgenres, aside from like hardcore punk, black metal, stuff like that, and get into them. They were the first band to break out into the mainstream. I mean, still Jawbreaker was popular within the subgenres. Sunny Day Real Estate, I wouldn't even go that far. But Dashboard Confessional was able to actually make it into this more everyday conversational bit of music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Super different.
Yeah, I as I'm sitting here thinking about it too, like I said, I always forget how long those guys have been around. I think one thing that plays into that is that guy, Carabas, was that his name?
Chris Caraba, yeah.
Yeah, Chris Caraba, that's what it was. Yeah. I think the reason I always forget they've been around so long is because guy's got a damn baby face. So
he does.
So you don't assume the guy's been right.
Voice, screeching.
So that's kind of, you know, they always seem recent in that parameter. Oh my God. Bands that ditched the brand, definitely, like we were talking, Fall Out Boy, My Chemical Romance, Panic at the Disco. And you have three bands that are still around, they're still playing music, they're still creating music. But I would say of those three, Panic at the Disco, he's taken that to a whole other level.
Completely
He's
different.
like not even so much as he ditched the brand. It's almost just like he did that at one point and now he doesn't. Like it's not
Well,
like he ditched.
it's like he's burying it in the dirt behind it.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
you listen to those first two records, you can't compare. There's no bit of tonal contrast that comes over into any other album. You know,
Hell no.
no.
Hell no. I think of the three that we just named there, I mean, I've always had a ton of respect for Gerard Way of My Chemical Romance. I think the guy's absolute genius, and the rest of that band as well. I mean, they're incredibly talented musicians. I remember way back in the day when I first got my hands on. I'm going to the Spotify's, but no, I remember I was at a record store called Reckless Records in Chicago. It was on Broadway, and I was just thumbing through. Like I wasn't even. It was one of those record store trips where I wasn't looking for anything specifically. And I stumbled across. It was. I found the name of the album. It's 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge.
Yep.
And it was the CD 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge, but it was a booklet CD opening where it had a DVD on the other side.
Huh. I remember when they used to do that.
Right? That was super cool when bands used to do that kind of shit. But yeah, like it was 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge on one side, and then the DVD on the other side was literally the band's story all the way up to releasing 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge. And like a little bit of tour footage on that record. And I remember Gerard Way talking in that. There was an interview with him. They're just sitting on the bus and they asked him the question, like, what's next for you guys? And he because by the time I got my hands on that, Black Parade had already been out. Like it had been a minute. Like it'd been sitting in that record store for quite a while. And he made mention of like, he started talking about Black Parade. And like that was what, 2 years away from even happening, and he had already planned that far in advance. Like he was talking about that they were gonna, the next album was gonna be all about this funeral, and it was gonna be all about, he already designed the outfits. And
that's so cool.
Yeah, and I remember like watching
the concept with it.
Yeah, well, just because of the time period that I was watching it versus the time period that it was filmed and released, I was super confused while I was watching. I was like, wait a minute. Like, so which album came out first? Like, I got all confused the first time I was seeing it, and I'm like looking at dates on things. I'm like, wait, when did this? Because he was that far in advance thinking about the Black Parade coming out. It was super cool. I've always had much respect.
Black Parade came out first. How crazy that would be.
Would have been. I mean, just I'm sitting in front of a keyboard right now. If I had it hooked up, I would just hit a G, just the and just everyone else
Everyone knows it, man. It's like the beginning of Wonderwall.
Or Sweet Caroline.
Oh, man. Well, I like to think of I'm Not Okay as the emo world's Sweet Caroline.
I like that. Okay.
I like it too. I like
that a lot. Hey, that's fun. Okay.
I would like someone to challenge me. Find a better song.
Maybe Vindicated. Maybe.
You could state a case.
However, I will say Vindicated may be more like emo's My Heart Will Go On.
I really like that.
Like we all know that one. We don't sing it a lot, but we know that one.
We know it, and it gets us.
Right here, man.
Right here. It makes me think of Zach Braff every single time.
Oh God. I mean, it's like, once again, bands that ditch the brand. We kind of touched on it a little bit as far as what the hell is Fall Out Boy doing now. It's tough to say. I know Patrick Stump went and did some solo stuff for a while, and I remember listening to it for a minute, and it was some interesting stuff. It was like kind of jazz driven almost.
Oh,
Yeah, it was very peculiar stuff, but I was about to Google it before we sat down, and I was like, honestly, do I really fucking care? I was gonna look up and see if Pete Wentz was still married to Ashley Simpson.
I hope so. I doubt it, but I hope so.
I mean, I could also see that the two of them are just like parents now. Like they forgot that they were either of them were famous, and they're just parents.
I'd like to imagine a world that Ashley Simpson replays her SNL moment every day in her head of just that Irish jig.
That's how she starts her morning. It's like a
Yeah, just
radio
like,
alarm clock.
oh man, and just plays that in her mind. That's what I hope.
I want to live in that world.
Me too. Me too.
Well, bands that stayed on brand, like we were talking, Hawthorne Heights, Story of the Year is
Yes.
that there's another one that I could be 50 feet away from a speaker, and all I would have to hear is and I would
There was
instantly.
a local cover band growing up that would only do Story of the Year covers. And
Oh,
yeah, they were called Shipwrecks. My friend Blaine was in it.
okay.
And they would bring down every single place that they played. Every single place. And this is Hawaii, so it's like you're playing for the same 35 people every single time. But we
Still
would go
counts.
absolutely ham. It was insane. People running on top of other people's heads and like stage diving off of stages that aren't elevated whatsoever. It was just nuts.
Right. I've
Great times though.
I heard a term for those one time. Someone called them shoebox stages. Because that's about.
I think shoebox stages are the ones that you can like pick up and take with you.
Oh, maybe I
Yeah,
confused two terms. I thought they were just talking about that's how tall it was, about the height of a shoebox. I may have completely confused what was going on at the moment.
Who knows? Maybe I'm completely wrong. Who knows? Who knows?
It could go a lot of directions. Oh man. Well, notable bands to throw in here. I actually just went on a kick the other day and was listening to a bunch of Thursday, and I forgot how much I love Thursday.
I've been doing that with Brand New myself.
Okay, yeah, they're another one that definitely I got in the notable bands here. What was it? DeGosser? Was that the name of that Brand New album? That was honestly being blown away. That album was fantastic.
It's a great one, and even some of their more recent releases, like Mene, incredible album.
Okay,
Incredible
yeah.
EP, I guess, but every single song on it is so good and unique, and like it's still at its core, it's brand new, but it takes its own twists and turns to it. It's unique, really good.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
man.
I could dig it. Here's a band that definitely, like in the early days, was kind of one of the forerunners of the emo brand that they kind of got pigeonholed just because of their couple mainstream songs. Was Jimmy Eat World.
Another one of my favorite bands.
That like The Sweetness, that was one of their bigger hits, and then obviously The Middle was their biggest song. And I feel like they kind of got, I don't know, they definitely weren't misunderstood. I wouldn't say that, but like I said, I think they kind of got pigeonholed as far as like, oh, they're the guys that played those two songs and that's it. When they had they had an entire catalog of music.
Well, I mean, just on that album alone, just on Bleed American, I mean, like Cautioners is one of my favorite songs of all time. That's an absolute beast of a song. Hear You Me is incredible.
Hear
and then
You
just
Me?
off
Yeah.
of amazing song. And then just off of the songs that you listed, I mean, The Middle, that's one of the best guitar solos ever recorded.
I'll give you that.
He just shreds it and it actually makes sense, and it's like it fits organically in with the rest of the song. Like he's serving the song, he's actually playing to it. They're a great band, man. They're a great band.
I think another band that we could throw in that same, maybe not as much into the emo category, they were definitely around during that insurgence, would be Yellow Card, would be another one.
I was thinking about adding them to this list early this morning. I was like, I think we could maybe state a case to say emo, on a certain level, like an emo punk band for sure.
Sure.
The lyrics are hard hitting, You know, they had that twang in their guitars. I mean, if emo music is about being unique and different, they have a fucking violin player in their in their lineup.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Like, their first record is a hardcore album, and they have a violin player. Like, you can definitely say that they're an emo band.
There's
Like,
a case to be made.
There's a case to be made.
I like that. Yeah, because they're another band where they have an entire catalog of music. But I have a friend that went to go see them last time they came through Denver. I don't know if this is the last time, but one of the more recent times they came through Denver. And they've kind of almost owned up to the fact that Ocean Avenue is just what people are showing up to hear.
Oh man. Well, it's not
because they
people
played
need
it.
to listen to other songs. Like Lights and Sound is an incredible. I remember that music video almost shot for shot. It was on VH1 Jumpstart every morning, and that's
hell
like
yeah.
But no, like again, to your point, like they have an entire catalog of just bangers that, because they have this one hit, this huge hit, they're always going to be thought of as the Ocean Avenue band. It's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, because he was saying, he's like, oh, they opened with it, and then it was in their like encore as well. They played it twice.
That's great. They understand that, like, that is what a lot of people are there to see, and they're just like, whatever, we'll give it to you. We'll play the song
they're
twice.
fine with it. they can pretty much play it in their sleep. Like, they don't even have to.
No, they don't think about it anymore.
They like every time they pick up a guitar, they accidentally start playing that. Like, God damn it. No, I know other songs. I swear I do. All righty. Before we start getting into some actual lyrics, I think this is one of the funnier things we have to talk about today, is if we were to create an actual emo Mount Rushmore, who would be on emo Mount Rushmore? And there's a lot of different directions we could go with this. And even when we were, I mean, just to fill everyone else in, when we were joking about this earlier, I was talking about an actual emo Mount Rushmore of just like carved in stone in the Dakotas. Maybe we don't take down the one.
Yeah, I thought it was more of like all the things that would make, like, what is the emo Mount Rushmore, like a hypothetical.
No, I'm talking about getting a crew together. Too. I'm getting some dynamite.
Watch for the GoFundMe at the end of this episode. The link will be in the bio.
Exactly. So we got a couple names that I think would just make sense. Gerard Way, I think he should definitely be in there. I really do.
Agreed.
He's
our George Washington.
Yes. Now we need a James Adams, or James Adams, John Adams, Walter Fillmore. Was he a president?
You're talking to the wrong guy.
That's right. You grew up in Hawaii. You guys don't even have presidents.
And I dropped out of high school at 15. So
fair enough. One of the ways we were talking about we could actually go with this is if we just if the emo Mount Rushmore was just if we had a Hot Topic employee, a what was another one we said, a Spencer Gifts employee.
Yeah, Spencer Gifts employee.
And then a Journeys employee, and then maybe someone from the food court. They just really just one of the kids walking around there.
Express or Taco Bell.
He doesn't know why he's there. He's like, I have to get back to work. What's happening right now? Like, hold still.
Yeah. He's like really upset that he's there. Really upset.
You damn kids. 6 of you sharing one soda. Fuck you. Or maybe it's someone from one of the kiosks that's selling like the raccoon tails or something.
Or like a jeweled phone case or something like that.
Yeah. Those people are relentless.
I know.
Fuck. Good Lord. Maybe someone's selling hair extensions or something.
There's got to be.
That could also work. But yeah, if we got Gerard Way up there, do we put Pete Wentz up there? My only reason being is that, like, he literally was like the emo god for a little bit.
I wouldn't even say for a little bit. I would say for the majority of the time that they were considered an emo band. And even well after the fact, he was still kind of like the poster child for it.
Right.
So I think he needs to be up there.
I in the lyrics, like additions that we have, like you like Nick and I both went and we found some good emo lyrics that we're gonna go through. One of the ones I didn't add in there because I didn't count it as Fall Out Boy lyrics, but is I forget which song it is, but where there's a little talking portion. It's almost like Pete Wentz being Jim Morrison, where he's like, "Day one, I talked about getting out, but never forgetting about." It's one of the worst poems that has ever been written.
You're gonna need to send that to me because that's not ringing a bell right now. I need it.
It's off there. It's off Take This to Your Grave. It's off their first album.
Okay.
Yeah, it is absolutely outstanding because the first time I heard it, I was literally in the midst, like the throes of my own emo phase. And I have Take This to Your Grave. I'm in my 92 Ford Ranger, just like flying down the road. And that came on and I was like, oh dude, come on.
No,
Not buying
thank you.
it.
No,
Not buying it at all, man. Oh my God. But yeah, why don't we start diving into some of these lyrics, man? Why don't we get in here? You want to do a little back and forth? You do one of your
I would love
submissions.
I
Okay,
would
cool,
love
man. What do you got for us first?
So I'm kicking it off with some brand new, because I feel like if we're gonna do an emo episode, we kind of need to talk about brand new.
Yeah.
So I'm starting off with Sowing Season, which is one of my personal favorite songs, and I picked the couple of stanzas of "Do you miss the blend? Colors she left you in your black and white field. Do you feel condemned just being there?" Like that absolutely hits.
That's some slice, stab, twist. Yeah, that's a little bit
Yeah,
of that.
that is a lyrical seppuku right there.
Oh yeah. What album did that one come off of again?
That's off of Deja,
Okay.
I believe. I need to check that. No, my mistake. I can't believe I got that wrong. That's the first song off of Devil and God.
Oh, okay. Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, Devil and God. That was a fucking awesome album.
Every song on that is I'm a little lost for words for it. It's so good.
Yeah,
Every
that
single
was. I think that was the first brand new album that I actually like actively listened to. You know, cause when you first hear a couple songs by a band, like that's just how you get into them at first. So I think that was the first full album that I listened to by them.
It's a great one. That was the album that got me into them.
So that's a fantastic album. I got some Hawthorne Heights here.
Oh boy.
And I mean, it's about as emo as it gets.
Which song did you pick there, Jake?
I don't know. Maybe Ohio is for lovers.
Oh boy.
And I can't make it on my own because my heart is in Ohio. So cut my wrists and black my eyes so I can die because you kill me.
Like it doesn't get any better than that.
No, like they literally are just calling out like, hey, this is how you're gonna look and dress and do and act, and here's the genre.
Here's your Bible. Here you go. These 3 sentences.
Oh my God. Because I've seen a lot of interviews with the kind of the front man lead singer of Hawthorne Heights, and he seems like a very well put together young man. He's the good grounded, humble guy. And that
I met them one time.
Yeah,
they were very nice. Yeah, very
nice.
Very nice.
Kind of a post show thing, or were you just at the 7-Eleven?
Yeah, it was. We saw them. I can't remember if I played with them or not, but because it's just kind of at that point now of just like, did I do that? I don't remember, but
right.
Definitely saw them, and we were just hanging out with them on the side stage during the show, just watching the other opening acts, and they're really nice guys. Really nice guys. Yeah.
Right on. Yeah,
man.
I think that's one thing. I mean, a lot of that genre. I mean, that was kind of the point of it. Being a band in that genre is that there was no one was better than anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like everyone was a piece of shit. I think was kind of like almost the air about it.
And it's also like everyone's there to support one another and uplift one another. It's very much so like we're in this together. It's our group.
Right.
And it's not like our group against yours. It's just like, this is our group.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Mhm.
I think that was one of the first things that really drew me toward like the, you know, the emo scene and the pop punk scene in general is that,
Sense of camaraderie.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
People, it's really difficult to explain to people that don't understand that sense of second family almost that comes from that sort of a scene. It
Right.
seems to be pretty universal from just about every single place that I've come across, anyways.
Right. Well, because like you were saying a little bit ago, that, you know, that venue you'd go to in Hawaii with that band that was doing Story of the Year
Hmm.
covers, like you said, it was the same 35 people in that room every weekend. Like, talk about second family. I mean, there you
Well,
go.
that's
Like,
also the Hawaii music scene. There would be like 80 bands made up of about 37 people, and
okay. Fair
like
enough.
it was great. It was really, really great. No, but on the real, if you want to hear some really good pop punk, really good hardcore, Hawaii has an incredible music scene that seems to just be sleeping underneath something. No one seems to know about it. There's
Wow.
some,
Okay.
yeah, there's some great bands that came out of that spot.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
We might have to, I might have to do a little research, find a couple local bands over there that we can
I'll
interview on
send
here.
some your way. I'll send some your way.
Fucking A, bud. I like it.
Yeah,
All
I got
right.
you.
What do we got next? What's your next lyrics for us?
I'm gonna go a little bit out of left field. I picked some Tegan and Sarah. I
Hey.
Yeah, another one that definitely isn't considered by today's standard to be an emo band, but if you listen to the Con, that's an emo album if there ever was one. So I picked my favorite song, which is 19, and I picked the lyrics, the opening lyrics to the song. I felt you in my legs before I even met you, and when I lay beside you for the first time, I told you, I feel you in my heart. Uh, I don't even know you, and now we're saying bye. It's just like, think about that in that, like, as a 19-year-old, you know, you're meeting someone for the first time. It's the first time you're like experiencing feelings for people, and
Right.
then something happens and you move on, or they move on or something. It's heavy, and that's exactly what that song is about. It's
Right.
about the heavy feeling of something not working out, and the first time you're enduring and dealing with that, you know. It's a great
Yeah.
song. Incredible drum part to it too.
There you go. Yeah.
Hmm.
I like
Hmm.
that. I think that's one of the, if there's anything that really drew the kids to the emo scene, is that it was the transparency of a lot of these artists being like, look, no one knows how to navigate love and loss. Nobody
Oh
has any
yeah.
idea. It sucks. Here's how I did it. But you know, I think that was one of the biggest things, that like there's the, like I said, the transparency of it. Of there is no right way to navigate love and loss.
It was also really cool for me, anyways, as a kid who didn't really grow up speaking about a lot of things, to see these adults that were being like, oh no, we deal with this stuff too. Like,
Right.
this isn't just a uniquely, like, one, like, it was the first time I experienced, like, oh, you're not alone in this kind of a thing,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
Like, this genre, specifically Tegan and Sarah, for me, was a big band that kind of showed me that, like, no, you're like, other people feel the same things that you feel and endure the same things you endure. It was huge for me.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Cause I, the upbringing that I had as well. I mean, like my dad's a very old school cat, and
Mhm.
he's not one for feelings, and he's not one to communicate. And so, at being a young man and like having my first crushes and wondering how this all works, I
Oh,
had no,
I relied on music to figure out that kind of stuff.
exactly.
Yeah, God
Exactly.
forbid I spoke to someone about it.
Right. Yeah. Because that's a sign of weakness.
Exactly. My father's a good old Irish Catholic boy from upstate New York.
Attaboy.
We shut our mouths and move on.
Exactly. Because then, like, so the submission I got here, it's from a Fall Out Boy song. I used to waste my time. I lost my spot as I was reading because I got excited. I do that all the time. I used to waste my time dreaming of being alive. Now I only waste it dreaming of you.
Oh,
That's a good one.
brutal.
Because I was between that one And what was the other great Fall Out Boy like love line was
Where is your boy tonight? I hope he is a
I
gentleman.
hope he's a gentleman. That's a good one. I'll burn down the city just to show you the lights. That's a good one.
Great lyric. Great.
Love that one. Yeah. I mean, that was like in the moment, like those first couple albums of Take This to Your Grave and From Under the Cork Tree. I mean, I never heard anyone refer to them as hokey. I never heard like all they got was praise for those first two albums.
Oh, and they still hold up. They still hold up.
Absolutely do. I'd say, no, it wasn't even a month ago. My wife and I were on a road trip and we listened to those first two albums back to back, like at one point on that road trip. So awesome. Well, yeah, that and once again, I mean, to the point like you were just talking about, like I wasn't used to being around adult men, like heterosexual adult men that were okay with like being open about like love.
Mm-hmm.
And I had, I was developing these feelings of like, why would I not just be in love? Like, why would I keep myself from that? And so, yeah, like you said, I had to go to music to figure that out. I had to go to music to decipher.
It was my best friend growing up, man.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Which brings me to my next lyric.
Good.
Brings me to my next one. My favorite Sunny Day Real Estate song, The Ocean. If you're not familiar with it, this might have one of the dreamiest, coolest guitar riffs and licks around. It's just so smooth and easy to digest. Very short lyrics. So they say another lie. Love's a rumor, but love will die. Just that's that. Good old Sunny Day.
I love those early like Sunny Day recordings because they're so raw.
Oh yeah, man.
Like it almost sounds like there's just like one mic in the middle of the room and they just played it.
Well, this was the Turning Point album. The Rising Tide came out in 2000, and that was their last full-length release that they've ever put out. And that's when they kind of went from like Diary, which came out in 94, where it was like the single room mic, really raw. This was the first album that turned it around. It's like, no, we're going to take this really seriously. It's a great album. It's a great album.
Nice.
Yeah, I have an original pressing of it. It's the best.
Attaboy. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. My last one I got here is Taking Back Sunday.
I can't believe we haven't talked about them yet.
I know. As I'm getting ready to read the lyrics, I'm like, how have they not come up yet? When we're talking notable bands.
We've talked so much about Brand New too.
Yeah. Well, when we're talking,
I mean, I feel like that alone could be an entire episode. The Jesse Lacey kind of. Well, I mean, we don't really want to talk too much about him now because he's a little creepy, but you know.
The truth is, you could slit my throat, and with my one last gasping breath, I'd apologize for bleeding on your shirt.
You know, I was briefly in a Taking Back Sunday cover band, and yeah, it was called The Buff. I don't know why it was called
The Buff.
Yeah, The Buff.
Normally they make it like a reference about the band, but you know,
it should have been, and it wasn't. No, Taking Back Sunday is very near and dear to my heart. I love that group.
So I actually just saw Taking Back Sunday. What was that? Was that 2 years ago? I saw them in.
Oh, awesome!
They came through San Diego, and they had an awesome band with them called The Beaches. It's these four girls from.
You told me about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4 girls from Canada that we will end up doing one of their songs on this podcast, but yeah, they came through and they walked out on stage. They opened with what did they? Oh yeah, they opened with so sick of being tired. That was he came flying out on stage at 1,000 miles an hour, just getting some. Still just as much.
They can still do that.
Right. The whole time my wife has asked me, she's like, how old is this guy again? And so I Googled it.
The band's been around for 20 years or whatever.
Yeah, so I Googled it. He's closing in on 39. He's right in there. So I
Dang.
Google it. I put my phone back in my pocket. They end the first song, and he instantly just starts talking. What's up, San Diego? It's so good to be here. Yeah, we're still around. Nobody Google how old I am.
Sorry, bud. That's the way that you did it.
But no, they like the whole point of that tour, they flipped a quarter on stage because they were doing 2 nights back to back, and it was which album they were going to play. So they were just like, all right,
cool.
so it's between this and this. They flipped a quarter. Oh, looks like we're playing, and they just went for it. Just went and
That's
just
so cool.
front to back. They went through it, and then I think they actually took a break in between because they played "Make Damn Sure," and then one other newer song. But
Okay.
everything they played was old stuff. It was fantastic.
I've only seen them once, and it must have been like 2006 or 7. It's been a minute.
So like heyday time. I mean, this is There was no new stuff.
No, I saw them at the Pipeline Cafe, and Archaeo opened, which was like the local. My friend Preston was the synth player in that band, and it was like they were like the big deal band.
Preston on synth.
Yeah, shout out Preston. What's up, dude?
I like it. Phone call. But yeah, dude, Taking Back Sunday. I mean, there's another band that I wouldn't say that they ditched the genre. I wouldn't even necessarily say that they're still on brand.
I would say that they grew up with it. I would say that they're doing their own adult version of it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Because I mean, once again, I've never heard anyone that has anything bad to say about really anyone that's come through that band. I mein, they have one of the funnier music videos I've ever seen whenever they brought Flava Flav in.
I forgot about that.
It has nothing to do with anything going on. He's just there. No, he's just hanging out. Just there.
That's what he does, though, in all fairness. He's just kind of there.
All right. Well, I guess this is the part where we figure out most emo songs of all time. I'm gonna plant my flag on Ohio is for Lovers, literally just because of that one line that I already read. Cut my wrist and black my eyes.
I would have taken that too if you already hadn't. So I went with a song that was very near and dear to my heart, which is "Hear You Me" from Jimmy Eat World.
Hell yeah. Yeah. That honestly is one of my favorite acoustic songs of all time.
You know, it's up there for me as well. It's just written so well, and the lyrics are so heavy hitting. There's like a real story behind it, and it's also straightforward enough that you can go ahead and have your own interpretation of that song.
Sure. You know? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely one of those songs where, like you said, there is absolutely a story behind it, but in the moment, you know, listening to that song, you can translate it for what you need it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great jam.
God, great jam.
Great jam. And is Jimmy Eat World still out there getting some? They got to still be touring and doing shit.
They've had a few new releases recently.
Okay.
And
all right.
I can't get into it personally, but you know, the first couple of albums still do it for me. I still regularly listen to them. And
hell yeah.
Play along with them and stuff.
Hell yeah. I like it. Yeah. Well, we at the moment, it is time to get into our local band spotlight.
Awesome.
And this week, I'm pretty fucking stoked about these boys. They're a band from British Columbia. They're called Let's Go.
I love it.
Yeah, I've talked to these guys quite a bit on Instagram, just DMing back and forth and shit. Let's Go is a punk rock band from Kamloops, British Columbia, Canada. Melodic, heavy, fast, from thrash metal to honky tonk. Which people don't talk about honky tonk as a genre enough.
That's the genre mashup we've been waiting for.
Thrash metal honky tonk. I mean, if anyone was going to do it, Canada was going to knock it out of the park. I mean, this is why we have Canada, to take care of all the loose ends that no one else can figure out.
I mean, we've got Dallas Green, and you know, now we've got Let's Go. This is exactly what
exactly. Uh, well known for swinging across other genres with reckless abandon, while always keeping one worn out shoe planted in the modern skate punk sound that has been a staple since their first release in 2018. I love that they say it as one worn out shoe.
I mean, the current pair of Vans I have has a hole in the big, like where the big toe is, so I get it.
It's incredible that all the other four aren't also popping out of there, right?
But they just need one.
You could follow them for a new song every month in 2021. Starting as a two-piece band, they played half a dozen shows using backing tracks. Not ideal, but they forged on, quickly establishing themselves as a high-energy, jump into the pit and thrash you kind of act. This caught the attention of longtime friend and musical ally, Scotty Bass. It might be Scotty Bass because it's a person, so it might be Scotty Bass. It could go a couple directions.
Maybe he's a fish.
Because the very next line after that says, "Who saddled up his thunder broom and joined the festivities." So does Scotty
I'm
Bass?
really glad they have a thunder broom player. There's not enough of those right now.
Thunder broom, yeah. You go to Berklee College of Music, minored in thunder broom.
Yeah, degree in thunder broom. I love it.
Let's Go went on to share the stage with their heroes, playing gigs with Downway and DOA. Their ill-fated debut tour, slated for April 2020, was scuttled due to the modern plague. So the group redoubled their songwriting efforts. Fast forward to 2021, when resident tub thumper Will Bruce, aka Billy Bats. See, I told you these guys are fucking awesome.
I was gonna say, did they write this themselves?
They did, yeah. That's how this always goes, yeah.
I love it.
Is absorbed into the amorphous blob of punk rock ectoplasm that is Let's Go. The band redoubles their efforts, noses touched firmly to the grindstone. Oh my God. The band is releasing a song every single month this year, and we can't wait for you to hear them. Let's go. Fuck yeah, boys.
That was rad.
That's awesome. Good guys. Rad. Yeah, we are definitely going to be adding a couple links to the Instagram this week. Let's pull up what song we throw it into the local bands that don't suck playlist. Let's pull them up here on the Spotify. Let's go. In artists. Let's go. Where are these boys at? Let's go.
My Spotify decided not to work right now. Okay, we're good.
I believe this is our boys.
With
I believe this is
Sound
them.
the Alarm.
Yes, Sound the Alarm, Rooftops and Parking Lots. I believe this is our boys. I'm getting down to the bio. Yep, from Kamloops, British Columbia. There we go. Here's our boys. We got Rooftops and Last Waltz of the Red Shirts. That could be a good jam. I think that one just came out not too long ago, if I remember correctly. Yeah, here's all their singles.
Love it.
Hell yeah. Attaboy. Right on. Let's Go from Kamloops, British Columbia. We love Kamloops, by the way. It's a great place.
Oh, it's my summer place.
Oh, he's a snowbird, is he?
Yeah. I got a couple homes up
there. Just right on the yeah.
Just right off that one road.
Oh God. Let's Go. We're absolutely going to be posting about them all week. We'll figure out which song to throw into the local bands that don't suck playlist. Whichever one we pick is going to be dope. I can already assure you of that. Support local music, friends. It's what we're all about. Support local music, local businesses. Support your local hookers, your local crack dealers. Everybody, keep it local, friends. Keep it local.
Keep it local.
There's no reason to go to the town next to yours or get a big business hooker. Just get your local hooker.
No. It's just like local honey. If you're not buying local, you're not getting those local enzymes. If you're not getting those local hookers, you're not getting those local enzymes either.
Exactly.
Big problems can arise.
This is how we all ended up with COVID.
Exactly.
People go into other towns.
They weren't shopping local hookers.
Oh God.
God,
Right
I
on,
love how
brother,
we're
man.
debunking pandemic myths.
Yeah. Well, this is what we do. I mean, we're a knowledge-based podcast with
I thought this was a
research.
science podcast. Is it not?
It was until someone checked our credentials, and then we just hightailed it out of the
Oh,
abort the jigsaw.
abort.
Yeah. The only thing we debunk is the fact that you have to be accredited or know what you're doing to actually do any of this shit. That's the only thing we've debunked. Oh, you've got a microphone in your house. Yeah, do a podcast.
Why not?
Oh my God, Nick, it was fantastic to have you on here today, man.
Thanks
This
for
was a
having me,
fucking
buddy.
blast. I hope I run into you again soon, randomly drinking beers, dude. That was neat
I
the
know,
other
just
day.
randomly at Cannonball. That was awesome.
Fucking A, yeah. Because it was also weird that Kyle didn't also just randomly walk in.
Oh, we planned that. I made sure he wasn't going to be.
One at a time, boys. One at a time.
No, I'm actually going to meet Mr. Dirty Hippie Kyle right after this. So
Good. Oh my
I'll
God,
tell
I
him you
love
said
it.
hello.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, sad lad Nick and Dirty Hippie Kyle and I, we all three worked together at one point, and it was
We did.
it was a
We
mess.
were in a magazine together. We were in USA Today together.
Can you believe none of us work there anymore?
I actually do.
You do?
I start tomorrow.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I mean, this is not the time or the place to talk about this, but
We can talk about it. We can talk about it afterwards.
Oh my God. Well, thank you all for listening in. Nick, it was great to have you on here. It was a pleasure, brother, man. Yeah. Give my love to Dirty Hippie Kyle, that son of a bitch.
I shall.
Oh my God. All right, bud. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. See you later.